Just baffling.
Because all of the evidence to date indicates that this was planned, premeditated, planned, and someone who had intent on committing murder.
The horrific assassination and shooting in Minnesota today are a direct result of Donald Trump and MAGA's hateful and violent rhetoric towards the left. And as we are beginning to see, not only is the blood on Trump's hands, but now a damning leaked memo shows that Donald Trump and his puppy-murdering psychopathic Homeland Security Director Kristi Noem were warned about this months ago and did nothing to stop it. But of course, first we have to talk about the suspected shooter, whose information and manifesto and ties to Donald Trump are being revealed.
Potential links to the government that this 57-year-old suspect, doctor as he's known on the internet, Vance Bolter, has had with the government. He's also has allegedly a private security job. AJ, what have you learned in the last half hour?
Vance Bolter is listed as a director of security patrols with a private security company, and it looks like his spouse, his wife, is listed as the president and CEO. That company, according to the Secretary of State's website, is headquartered in Gaylord, Minnesota. And when you look up the address for this security company, it just takes you to what looks like a home. And on Google Earth, parked in the driveway is a dark SUV with police lights, stickers. You know, it's got the bar on the top. What is different, though, is the vehicle that was taken from the scene of the shooting does not appear to have the same wrap along the side as the vehicle you can see in Google Earth, but it does tie the suspect that they're looking for, Vance Bolter, to police-looking vehicles that are all tricked out with, the bar lights on top and the spotlight.
Right, but on top of being a hateful, gun-thumping, self-proclaimed security expert, new reporting is revealing that he left behind a manifesto with a hit list of at least 70 other Democratic officials and held very extreme views. In the previous video that we did covering him, we talked about how he was appointed to different positions under both Democratic Governor Tim Walz and a previous Democratic governor, but had most recently in 2004 registered as a Republican. We are now finding out he left behind a manifesto listing the names of 70 politicians, including Walz and his Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and a stack of papers stating "No Kings" in reference to the nationwide anti-Trump protests, according to police. And get this, the apparent hit list included abortion providers, clinics, and Planned Parenthood, theorizing the suspect may have been harboring pro-life views. Both of the Democrats he targeted were pro-choice. Police are weighing whether Bolter held extreme anti-abortion views. President Trump also reiterated the likely political motivations, but did not divulge any details, saying, "I have been briefed on the terrible shooting that took place in Minnesota, which appears to be a targeted attack against state lawmakers." Our Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and the FBI are investigating the situation, and they will be prosecuting anyone involved to the fullest extent of the law. Such horrific violence will not be tolerated in the United States of America. God bless the great people of Minnesota, a truly great place. But that all feels pretty hollow when you find out that a leaked memo warned that officials were vulnerable to attacks months before these shootings. Just months ago, DHS analysts warned that high-profile officials were increasingly vulnerable to attack at their homes as potential attackers shift away from traditional targets such as government buildings and corporate offices, in a confidential memo obtained by ABC News, noting recent uptick in online messaging promoting attacks at their homes, doxing and swatting incidents, and several notable attacks. The memo, which leaked in March, described an escalating threat from potential attackers targeting public figures where they live. Private homes often lack more robust security measures and are accessible with limited obstacles, the memo suggested. The DHS analysts also pointed to overall increased politicization and the prevalence of conspiracy theories targeting industry and government officials, adding that the complex mix of motives makes it harder for law enforcement to detect and disrupt plots. And this has been an issue for years. You'll likely remember the attacks on Paul Pelosi that were meant for Nancy Pelosi. So not only did the political assassin harbor far-right views, have a list of over 70 Democrats that he was trying to kill, a manifesto, no king's flyers, meaning he was trying to go on a rampage, likely, clearly inspired by the uptick in political violence from Donald Trump, from MAGA, but also Donald Trump and Kristi Noem were warned about this in advance. This specific type of thing, months in advance. And what have they done since? Escalated attacks on Los Angeles, on innocent citizens, immigrants, protesters, students. But just wait for the hand-wringing from the right as they say immediately after Trump's military parade is over that we need to tone down the rhetoric on both sides. This is far worse than an affront on our democracy, folks. This is an affront on our humanity. And the blame rests squarely at the feet of Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Stephen Miller, and any maggot on the right who feeds the flames of hate. And if you see a maggot online pushing back and defending Donald Trump, send them this video. The man is a stain on the progress of humanity, and frankly, so are they. Sorry if that's harsh. I'm done being nice. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I'll see you guys in the next one.